Talking again? I've been talking this whole time. No sound. Busy Blues number two fan. You didn't tell me? Oh, Lord have mercy. I was talking over the music, even saying hey to people, and there's no sound. Could they even hear my music? I wondered that. Could they even hear the music? Surely they could, because it's piped in from somewhere else. Anyway, welcome to Dear Dana. Let me make my speech again. I'm a trained psychotherapist, but I do not do psychotherapy on here per se. Um, we talk about psychology, spirituality, social commentary, pop culture, and a myriad of other things. If it's about you being a human being, we probably talk about it on here. We might laugh, cry, vent. We do all the things. But today we are talking about mental health in Hollywood because let me tell you, I got to say it again because you didn't hear me, and out in the bushes too. I'm worried about Hollywood because every time we turn around, it's a hot mess over there. Someone is falling apart in Hollywood every single day. It's making us regular folks look good. We need to pray for them. We need to pray, hallelujah, we need to pray for them. And I mean it seriously and funny, but I mean it seriously. Because something's going on in the world. I have never seen it so bad. You got your Brittany, you got your Johnny, and the girl whose name I might not need to say. You've got Anne Hayes just lost her life. Rest in peace. Um, you got Kanye. You got Kim. They've always got the drama going on. Hearing about divorces in Hollywood left and right. If marriages in Hollywood last 2 years, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. But then you've got Angelina coming up. Now, we all heard years and years ago her saying he popped a kid in the face, right? So now that they're in this argument over the vineyards. Over the vineyards. So she's popping up talking about an incident that happened in 2016. But she's got more juicy details, people. Now, I never want to dismiss a woman's story. I don't want to dismiss a woman's story. But she's taking a story for 2016. And thank you, by the way, Renee. She's taking a story from 2016 and throwing on more details. And they involve the kids. And I'm sorry if people did not get my notices. Instagram was giving me fits today. I don't know if more people were having trouble with Instagram, but every time I would put the notice up, type details about the show, it would disappear. I put the notice up about tonight's live, type details, go to hit the thing, it would disappear. I was having a high pain day. I got so flustered, I finally just put the show up and hit send because it was wanting to make everything reels. I was having fits with Instagram today. So there may have to be a lot on the replay crew. I don't know. So that's why it looks spare in here. But hopefully people will see. So I'm so pleased. Thank you, Renee Rod and Busy Blues number two. And thank you for letting me know I was on mute. Hey, Paranormal Witch Willow. You're doing house cleaning again today? But thank you. So anyway, here comes Angelina because she was supposed to not sell that half. They had an agreement. So she goes to the FBI, tries to go to through the court thing. Let me read you what she says. This had been investigated and dismissed. Hey, Margie, So happy to see you. It had been investigated and dismissed long ago. We're talking 2016. Now, most of what saddens me the most about this are the children. They're all teenagers now, are going into teenagehood. Yeah, I sure hope she's feeling well too. Are going into teenagehood. And to put this out there where the whole world can see it. We all know how hard it is to be going into teenagehood or being in teenagehood. And their children have to be exposed to all of this. How much of it's true, how much of it is added to, I don't care. You're talking 2016. So Angelina's going to dig this wound up for these kids that seem to be thriving at the moment because they're disagreeing on the vineyard. That's the first thing that bothers me. That's the first thing that bothers me. It is not something happening in the moment. I don't care if the whole thing's true. All of us know when things like this happen, there's her version, his version, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. We all know this. So let me begin to read what's going on here, or what they say is going on here. Let me begin to read this. Dana, Dana, Dana. Where is the article? Okay, here it is. From the Los Angeles Times. And we all know too, of the New York Times, that by Julia Jacobs, whoever's also writing it, we have to take that. Angelina Jolie filed a cross complaint against her ex husband Brad Pitt on Tuesday, disclosing new details about what she described in court papers as ABUSIVE behavior by him on a private plane in 2016 that led to the dissolution of their marriage. Now, listen, his complaint has to do with Vineyards, period. So what she's saying here has nothing to do with what he's saying. His is about the Vineyards, period. Okay? So what she's writing is about 2016. So in a court filing in Los Angeles filed as part of a legal battle over a winery the prominent Hollywood actors once owned together. This battle is over the winery. Okay, are you hearing me? Lawyers for Miss Jolie stated that negotiations to sell her share of the business to Mr. Pitt had broken down over his demand that she sign a NDA that would have contractually prohibited her from speaking outside of court about Pitt's physical and emotional abuse over their children. This is what she's saying, okay? This is why she's saying breakdown over the sale of the winery. Makes no sense. Her filing goes on to describe an extended physical and verbal outburst in September 2016 as how does one thing have to do with another? As Mr. Pitt, Miss Jolie, and their 6 children flew from France to California. Pitt, CHOKED, one of the children and struck another in the face and grabbed Jolie by the head and shook her. The filing states, adding that at one point he poured beer on Jolie, at another he poured beer and red wine on the children. Federal authorities who have jurisdiction over flights, investigated the incident but declined to bring criminal charges. Days after the plane trip, Miss Jolie filed for divorce. A divorce lawyer for Mr. Pitt and Kylie said that Mr. Pitt had accepted responsibility for some things in his past, but that he would not accept responsibility for the things he did not do. Miss Kylie also said that during divorce settlement negotiations this year, which were separate from the negotiations over the winery, a lawyer for Miss Jolie had sent Mr. Pitt's lawyers a proposal to try to settle the case, and one of the preliminary proposals had been a stipulation that neither party would make a derogatory comment about the other in public. Except in court, Miss Kylie said Mr. Pitt's side agreed to discuss the term, but when Miss Jolie's side responded, she did not bring up the non disparagement proposal again. The decoupling of Miss Jolie and Mr. Pitt has stretched on for years, drawn out by court battle for custody of their children, and more recently a lawsuit instigated by Mr. Pitt over the French winery, Chateau Miraval, that the couple bought over more than a decade ago. Mr. Pitt's lawsuit filed this year accused his ex-wife of violating his contractual rights when she sold her half of the company to a subsidiary of Stoli Group without his approval. Miss Jolie's cross complaint said that she only sold her stake elsewhere after talks broke down over his demand for a non disclosure agreement, that Mr. Pitt physically assaulted Miss Jolie and their children on the plane in 2016, had concluded that the government had probable cause to charge Pitt with a federal crime for his conduct that day. A redacted FBI report on the case, which was reported on by several news outlets in August and later obtained by the New York Times, states that the agent provided the United States Attorney's Office copies of probable cause statement related to this incident. After reviewing the document, representative of the United States Attorney's Office discussed the merits of this investigation with the case agent, the report said. It was agreed by all parties that criminal charges in this case would not be pursued due to several factors. The FBI report described Ms. Jolie as conflicted on whether or not to be supportive of charges related to the case. Representatives from the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in LA declined to comment. She has gone to great lengths to try to shield their children from reliving the pain Pitt inflicted on the family that day, Miss Jolie's lawyers wrote in the cross complaint. But when Pitt filed this lawsuit seeking to reassert control over Jolie's financial life and compel her to rejoin her ex-husband as a frozen-out business partner, Pitt forced Jolie to publicly defend herself on these issues for the first time. According to Miss Jolie's account of 2016 flight in the court papers, the dispute began when Mr. Pitt accused Miss Jolie of being too deferential to their children and then began yelling at her in the bathroom. Pitt grabbed Jolie by the head and shook her, and then grabbed her shoulders and shook her again before pushing her into the bathroom wall. And shook her again. Okay. The filing states Pitt then punched the ceiling of the plane numerous times, prompting Jolie to leave the bathroom. When one of the children came to Miss Jolie's defense, the court paper said Mr. Pitt lunged at the child, prompting her to grab him from behind. Amid the altercation, Mr. Pitt choked one of the children and struck another in the face, the suit said. The 2016 flight has been the subject of news media reports since shortly after it occurred. In November of that year, the FBI released a statement saying that it had closed its investigation into the flight and that no charges had been filed. It's unclear whether the heavily redacted FBI report included allegations that Mr. Pitt had done any of those. Miss Jolie and Mr. Pitt met each other on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a 2005 action movie, which we all know, and they played married assassins. In 2008, they purchased a controlling interest in the Chateau Miraval, viewing it both as a family home and business. Several years later, the couple was married on the property. They have 6 children, now the ages between 14 and 21. The French winery, known for its rosé, is the center of a legal dispute. Mr. and Mrs. Pitt and Jolie form a company alleging she violated the contractual expectations. Okay. So they go on blah, 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 blah. She sold it in secret, keeping Pitt in the dark, and broke the contractual rights. Jolie's formal company last month, which is now owned by Stoley, rebutting his versions of events and has now claimed the sale constituted a hostile takeover. So basically, that's where we stand. And I want to know, what do you think? I want to know because this is kind of complex. I go kind of both ways because in my mind, we know Brad Pitt said that he had overcome an alcohol problem. We know this. We had heard that he had an issue. He had Maddox, okay, the oldest one, which Jolie adopted in the beginning. We had heard about Angelina saying about across the face, right? Back in 2016. I'd heard something about a wedding before I came on. Who's going to a wedding? Margie, are you going to a wedding? Somebody was giving me wedding inklings. Okay, have fun at the wedding. So we'd heard something about, no, okay. We'd heard about him and Maddox, the oldest that she adopted before she actually married him. Okay. And we heard he had to overcome an alcohol problem. We also know she's had long had mental health problems. She's had bipolar, BPD, stuff like that. She was a wild child when she was married to Billy Bob Thornton. Okay. She has added details to this since 2016. Now, her oldest son stands by her. Her older kids don't speak up. It makes me sick getting the kids involved. Makes me sick. But here's the thing as a therapist. There's only been one ever reported incident. If you are someone that has had an alcohol problem, if you are ever going to be an ABUSER and you have a history of alcoholism, if you are an ABUSER, it's going to exacerbate that. And it's never, ever, ever going to be one incident. So, why one incident reported? Is my question. Is anybody getting what I'm laying down? So, I'm feeling like the truth lays somewhere in the middle. The truth lays somewhere in the middle. I can see him getting angry and yelling at her. I can see them carrying on in the bathroom. I can see the kids getting upset. I could probably even see them going at it, right? Like couples do that yell and scream. I can see them probably going to the bathroom to have the argument. But you've got a pilot, you've got a lady that's probably waiting on them in the plane. They can increase in severity, yes. But if you're not a violent person, you're not automatically going to become one all of a sudden. You get what I'm saying? There is nothing in me that could cause me to become that kind of person where I would do that to someone in my family, regardless of the medication I'm on, regardless of how much I drank. It has to be sort of inherently in you. You get what I'm saying? Unless you're on some whacked out drug. And it wouldn't be an isolated incident like that. It wouldn't be an isolated incident. If he was a drinker, now he said he had a problem with alcohol. I mean, it had become, I don't think he was like kind of drunk, but he said it had become a problem for him. And if that is the case, there would have been multiple episodes we'd heard about. If you're in the small confine of a plane, think about it. You're in the small confine of a plane, and a husband and a wife are arguing, and they try to take it to a bathroom, and that comes out of a bathroom, and they're nan each other. And maybe the teenage son, who was with Jolie first, tries to get protective and all up in the business. All it would take is a dad trying to push the kid away. See what I'm saying? Trying to push the kid away out of the business, and it end up looking like, or haphazardly. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, in the heat of the moment. So I'm feeling like Brad's arguing. He's probably had a few on the plane. Angelina is hot tempered. She's hot tempered. Yes, she's done a lot of good things. But historically, she's hot tempered. So she's not a fluff bunny either. And from what I hear, she's a good mom, but she is hot tempered. So they're probably nan away at each other. Because you hear it says, it doesn't say he harmed Angelina. He grabbed her by his shoulders. So me's thinking it was whatever happened was accidental with the kids. And they were hot temperedly going at it. And after investigation, this is why it was not charged. He wasn't charged, and it didn't go there. And here is the kicker. Here's the kicker of all kickers. He has 50% custody, which she didn't fight and she allowed. What mother in their right mind would give 50% custody to a father that wasn't A, B? What mother in their right mind would? I would not ever, ever, no way, Jose, give custody to a dad that I knew was capable of that. I would not. So I'm feeling like her side, his side, truth in the middle. And I feel like she is so irate that he is going to court about this, that she pushed the envelope and is going for it. And I'm honestly upset with her in this instance because I'm sorry. There is nothing worth putting this kind of information out there and besmirching, is that the right word? Anything that could emotionally harm your kids. Emotionally, mental health wise, harming your kids just as bad as the other, in my opinion. All of it's bad. All of it is bad. All of it's bad. Sucky parenting 101. Wanna if what she's saying on the plane is true, sucks. And what she's doing right now sucks. All of it sucks. Hollywood mental health. And what I'm saying too is I love when we see good movies. I love when we get to see wonderful things on television. I admire acting. I admire good acting. I admire things on Broadway. It's a wonderful talent. It truly, truly is. It is a wonderful talent. But actors deserve to have some good mental health behind them. They need therapy. Things need to be turned around in Hollywood because the way it's looking now, the way it is looking now, their mental health is highly affected. I don't like what I'm seeing. And all the stories you hear about these young people going out looking to be famous, looking to get acting gigs and everything else, the stories you hear, the things they've had to go through, and the people that are getting put in jail, Harvey Weinstein, the stories behind that, the damage that's been done. How many more? We're going to look, believe you me, we're going to hear more. It's going to be popping up in the social media in the months to come. That's going to be shocking. More ugly is going to be popping up. More ugly is going to be popping up. And people like people like Jennifer Garner, hopefully Tom Hanks is who he seems. The actors that we admire that have kept it together? How many are there? And how did they? Are far and few between. Far and few between. Or they've hit it incredibly well. Mental health needs to be on board with every new actor because this is turning into be a hot mess. And the ones that are paying, the very ones that are paying, are the kids of these actors. The kids of these actors. Look at Tori Spelling's kids. I know she loves her kids, but I cannot even imagine. I can't even imagine what those kids are hearing and seeing and going through. Tori Spelling's kids. What and they appear well adjusted, but Angelina and Brad's kids. Angelina and Brad's kids. I don't think Angelina's connected with her dad. Her mother's passed away. Hopefully Brad gets to take his kids to see his family. I mean, Jennifer Aniston seems like the most sane out of the bunch, and she look, girl, she didn't get married. Well, she's not married currently. She doesn't have kids, but who can you name? I'll say it, said it before. I'll say it again. Mental health is at the forefront of what affects everything. Spirituality, right beside it. Right beside it. Affects your physical, your relationships, your jobs, your happiness, your joy. And people dismiss those things that quickly. Like none of it matters. But it's going to be at the forefront. People are going to have to look at it, look at themselves, quit dismissing it. But I'm telling you, there's going to be an avalanche of us seeing more and more in our face from Hollywood and from singers, actresses, actors. We're already seeing it. Already seeing it. Seeing it. All the really greats are aging out and passing away. All the newer ones don't get to age out. Are you noticing it? They are leaving this earth 20s, 30s, if they're lucky, early 40s. So happy to see you here, Margie. So happy to see you here. You just don't know. It's an epidemic. People are going, look, the world is going to be forced to see that mental health and spirituality and physical too is going to have to be the triad. The triad. And people are going to have to take all of that seriously. And I'm just so disappointed in what I'm seeing in mainstream social media in Hollywood. It is like self imploding. Self imploding. Marcy, what's your opinion on what I read to you about Brad Pitt and Jolie and those that are in the replay gang and out in the bushes? Please, please put your opinions in the comments. I'm very interested. This is one time I wish Jolie, Angelina, would have zipped it because she thinks she's doing the right thing. This is going to hurt her children for years to come. And I'm not saying what happened or didn't happen. The very fact that she said all of this out there is going to hurt her children for years to come. Because I think the way she's reporting it is over the top. I feel like there was his side, her side, and the truth is in the middle. I don't think it's to the extreme she said, and I don't think it's nothing. I think the truth is in the middle. I don't think the intent for ABUSD was there. Insofar as the kids, I think the adults got into an argument in a slight space. And there was a lot of animation going on. Exactly, Marty. She should have stood up for herself, left it out of the media, and I think she's pulling the sink for this card from 2016 to try to fight dirty with him. I'm not putting her down. This should have been a private thing, and I think she's hurting her children. It should have been a private thing. I feel like when these actors, this is just, the children are paying the price. The children are paying the price. They are innocent in all of this. They're going to pay for years to come. And they ultimately, Brad and Angelina, hey, Shoeless, so happy to see you. I'd love to hear your opinion, actually. If you'd like to come up. If you don't, that's cool. But I feel like some of the kids are going to be resentful. And they're going to get an ear of it later. But I feel like she wasn't. Look, this was the wrong way to go about it. I feel like somewhere in the middle is the truth. Somewhere in the middle is the truth. And this was ultimately the wrong thing to do. Hollywood needs to find some integrity. Mental health and spirituality going to marry each other. And we are walking into a new phase in this world. We're going to see a lot of shit. We're going to see a lot of shit hit the fan in the months to come. Just woke up, missed stuff. No worries. No worries at all. Tonight's not going to be a long sesh anyway. But I want people to be aware. You're going to watch it coming. The ball is rolling. Get ready to see your eyeballs pop. Because just intuitively and in my gut, not that we haven't seen a lot of weird stuff happen and come up in the news, but war's about to hit the fan. Mark my word. We think we've seen it? No. It's a snowball effect. It's a snowball effect, baby. I mean, it is a snowball effect. We're going to be like, they're just doing that for publicity. Nope. And nope. Nope and nope. And I have a little feeling, I just have a tiny little feeling, the Kardashians might have bitten off more than they can chew. Just have I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know exactly what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I, I, I don't know exactly what it is. I feel like it has more to do with Kim and the mom. I don't know exactly what it is. This just came out of the blue. I don't know what it is. It just came out of me out of the blue. I don't think it has to do with Quarter Chloe. I know it's. I know. I feel that way too. Shoeless. It just came out of nowhere. I might be biting my own fingers off, but it just came out of my mouth out of nowhere. I might, I might be biting my own fingers off, but it just came out of my mouth out of nowhere. But I just have a feeling they bit off more than they can chew in in a few months, because they are golden. They're usually golden. They're usually fine. But I just have a feeling about something, but I don't know exactly what it is. It came out of left field. But I'm just saying, Hollywood is an hot caca right now. You know how they usually have their spin doctors that can spin the truth away? I mean, spin the, hey, James Money, spin the mess away. I think they're getting to the point they can't spin the mess away anymore. We, the people, are too clever. We know too much. Does that make sense? We have too many eyes around, too many ears, too many cameras, and we're all over the place in technology on social media. I think that's part of the problem. And because we're on all technology, all social media, all YouTube, we know the truth too much. I don't trust a lot of what I see on mainstream social media, on TV. I question everything. That's the thing. We should question everything. Question everything. Question everything. How many of you, when you watch TV, when you watch the news, trust the news? Do you trust what you see on mainstream social media? If you do, put a 1 in the chat. Do you trust everything you see on TV now? I think we, the people, have had enough and will not be polite about it for much longer. No, no. I don't trust anything I see on television news anymore. Used to, you could watch television news and you knew they were being objective. You knew they were being objective, and they gave you the possibility to use your brain, make up your own mind. Sheila says, I trust sports news. But now they're too opinionated and too slanted. And they want you to believe what they believe. No, I won't do that. So now when I see things, I'm trying to tease it apart because I'm a psychotherapist. That's my job. And I want to look at both things. Sheila says, because you've seen the results yourself. What do you mean by that? I want to see both things. I want to figure out what comes from both sides and how much sense it makes. They are obsessed with controlling the narrative. Absolutely. They want to control the narrative. But I'm a big picture person. Plus, I want to see all the pieces of evidence, how everything fits together or not, and what sense it makes. And if it doesn't make sense, why would I believe that? Why would I believe that? Because you want me to? No, not because you want me to. And I have to feel it in my gut or not. Now, like with Brad and Angelina, I'm not saying Brad's an angel. He, he's a man. He's a good looking man. He's an actor. He cheated on his first wife. He cheated on his first wife. Does that make him a demon? No. Does it make him an angel? No. Angelina, she's got a temper. She has a history of mental health problems. Does that make her bad? No. But she's got a history of mental health problems. She has a history of anger issues. She's got a history of acting out issues. She's got a history of you can't believe everything she says, but she's also got a history of she's done a lot of great things. She's done a lot of great things. And she loves her kids. So you've got to go check, 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 check. The first wife is a babe too. Yes, she is. And she's more sane than any of them, probably. So, in the scenario, what sense do things make? That's what you have to think about, right? In the scenario, what sense do things make? And I have treated a lot of people that have alcoholism. I've treated a lot of people that have a history of DV. And I know what alcoholism does with people that have a history of DV, how it exacerbates that behavior or not, and a history of people that have her mental health issues. And, you have to put all the dynamics together. And people that have conflict when they're married, which is a hot mess. So it's like, put all the pieces together, see what it looks like, throw in the kids, how they're going to react, which is so sad, and put them in a plane and stick them in a plane and imagine how it goes. It's vastly different than if they're in a big space. And then you have to think about all the people in Hollywood and what they do to get a part and how hard they work and what it's like to get turned down a million times and what it's like to get all the adoration and have all the money. I don't know if I'd want to. Look, being an actor is like being a salesperson. You have to sell yourself first. You have to sell yourself. And then you have to get the part and pray you're a good actor. And when that part's over, guess what? You've got to sell yourself again. And unless you're such a great actor that you're bankable and they're calling your number to be in the next movie. Until you're no longer sellable. And that's a kick in the brain. So, again, I don't want to. Do you? What? Do you want me to pop up? I can if you want. My friend, that's up to you. We would love for you to voice your opinion before we go down here, because But yeah, sure. Hear your opinion for a minute, my Aussie friend. Let you gloat about Jennifer Aniston for a minute. Sure, sure, sure. Come on up and beat down the Hollywood people. But yeah, it's mark my word. You watch it. Let's watch all the good movies we can now for a little while. But we're going to see like Angelina and Brad are going at it. If they're going at it, other people are going to be like, well, they spilled their guts. They let all their mental health bleed all over the place. We might as well let ours bleed. If they can do it, we can do it. You watch. It's coming. It's going to be sad. It's coming. I dropped the link if you want to come. Shoeless Steve. But it's sad. Remember when people in Hollywood were glamorous? By the way, I watched the movie about Marilyn called Blonde. It came in episodes. Did it come in episodes? I think it did. So if any of you want to watch it, let's talk about it. Let me know in the community tab. It was interesting. An interesting way for them to put it. Very sad in some ways, but it was a whole different perspective of Marilyn. Did I particularly um it was a whole different perspective for sure. You could see maybe why she was the way she was, but it was not a perspective maybe of how you might have thought before. Hello, mate.
G'day.
G'day.
How's it going?
Is my accent a little better?
Yeah, I'm still trying to work out where you fit on the spectrum. It's sort of like between Scottish and Aussie, and yeah, still trying to peg it.
Well, I'm trying. So, what do you think about all
So
this
yeah,
mess?
so my opinion on especially the special Ks, as I think a lot of people call them over here. Their toxic show and their toxic lifestyle and everything that they stand for has been cringeworthy and vomit standard for a long, long time. You got a mother who likes to use their daughter's sexuality to make sure that they stay in the spotlight. A mother that wants to be as much as them in that regard as well. When a father comes out and says that he needs to have a change, people turn on him and some people celebrate him. The whole thing's seriously just a hot mess, and I think generally a lot of people these days are starting to wake up and go, you know what, it's toxic. It's really toxic. It's not good for kids to be using people like that as as role models. They haven't even got their own lives together. Why should they be affecting everybody else?
When you said
You know what I mean?
special K's for a minute, in my head I was thinking Angelina, Brad Pitt, Special K. Who's Special K? I've heard of a drug Special K, cereal Special K, and then it dawned on me you were talking about the Kardashians. I was
Yeah, I don't even like mentioning the word.
like, yeah, I was like, who are Special K? That was my
Yeah,
brain.
yeah, special Ks. I like to call them the special Ks because they're all tapped in the head and they don't even realize it.
But yeah, thank you. Good point though. When you started talking about the dad that changed, it clicked who they
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
You didn't because you were
Um,
right.
when it comes to Hollywood though, in general, um, it's such a dog eat dog industry, and people get burnt like that.
Yeah,
So everyone's always on having their ego, having to be at a certain level because that's what people require them to be. Like people like Matt Damon over the years, just saw him as the Bourne Ultimatum, and then he speaks out about guns, and then all of a sudden everyone turns on him. And now he
yeah.
spends more time in Australia, in a country where we don't have guns. Fancy that.
I didn't know he spent more time there. Hey,
Yeah,
hey, not paid
he's
by
got a
anyone.
property over here and everything now over in the eastern states.
Have you seen him?
Um, yeah, so he comes over here quite a fair bit. It's I think it's one of those things of where look, I've got cousins of mine that have been in movies that have been filmed over here that have done acting with Heath Ledger and and stuff like that, that that have done things for themselves, but they just, and even with one of them did a movie with Chris Hemsworth and everything, and but he was such a grounded guy that he just went, you know what, that lifestyle is not sustainable long term. And either you're in or you're not. All you've got to do is say one wrong thing, and all of a sudden Hollywood turns against you, and then all of a sudden you're out on the gutter. There's some actors which I'll sit and go probably shouldn't have been acting in the first place, but suited an in particular role which made them popular. Brendan Fraser, love your work, mate. But I think across the board, in the big scheme of things, in Hollywood as well, they're all puppets. They just don't know it.
I mean, the minute
They,
Brendan
they,
Fraser gained a little weight, they were like,
yeah, that's right. As soon as you don't fit the bill, Hollywood says, ta-da, you know. And if it wasn't for the whole Marvel series and the DC stuff that's been going on with all the Avengers and all the bits and pieces, a lot of these actors that had picked up certain roles probably wouldn't be around now if it wasn't for that actual universe that's been created. They would have gotten a movie here and a movie there, and you'll see a lot of these actors now are stuck in these roles because that's what they're defined for.
yeah.
They won't get other opportunities because that's what they've signed themselves up to. 8 movies. Well, 8 movies is most of your career these days.
Oh,
So,
that's the point. Yeah.
so they pin you into a box, and they go, this is who we want you to be. You've fitted the role in the actual trials. This is now your life.
And look,
Now, is that a good thing, a bad thing? From a salary perspective, and knowing that you're going to have an income and you can set up a certain lifestyle, that's great. But is that all that life's meant to be about?
I mean, look at the ones that end up being in some of the roles that you turn around and they're, committing these crimes and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're in the big roles. Don't
Yep.
want to say some of their names, but
Mm.
to me, the ones that typically, not all the time, that are in the television shows seem to be a little more stabilized, but the
Yep.
bigger actors that are in the movies poo-poo the ones that are on television.
Yep. Absolutely. And then the other thing as well, regards to relationships and the media chasing down people on the street and watching every step that they do. Look, I'm not a big fan of actors because of their egos and all the rest like that, and the whole Jolie thing, all the rest like that. I couldn't give 2 hoots from the point of view of what she does.
Yeah.
My opinion, I've spent a long time in Cambodia. I understand why she felt the need, I'll put it like need, to take those children out of that country because they were orphans, and she felt sorry for them and all the rest of it. But my 15 years in Cambodia has seen 45 to 50 children that have gone from being little kids now as adults, that have married people, that have got their own kids, who have ended up fully educated and now making a difference in their own country.
Yeah.
You can turn around and take someone out of their country because you feel the need to see it being a good thing you're doing, but no offense, that was publicity. You can
Good
have
point.
love for someone, granted, but to take those kids out of that place and all of a sudden, because she was doing Tomb Raider and all the rest of like that over there, and then all of a sudden she's She's taking these kids and the Cambodian government, love her and they're all doing photos with her. That was all PR. That was all publicity. The
Yeah.
reality comes in that all of a sudden you're bringing up two kids, you're doing your thing, you've got a relationship which is a little bit not normal. You're both living off egos, and basically, what was that movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I think
Smith.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the start of them falling apart. That was two egos clashing in that movie.
Yeah. Because
The wheels started to fall off after that movie because it got heightened everything that they were feeling behind closed doors, and it was the perfect movie to turn around and watch a marriage self-destruct.
true. He should have
So,
never left
you
Jennifer
know,
Aniston. I'm
but the
just,
thing is with it is that the media, um, they have lost their responsibilities in truth.
oh,
They have
definitely.
lost They've lost their. If you go to Cambodia and you go to there's actually a bar over there which is for the reporters. It's actually set up, and on the wall there is this big plaque which is a mantra of what it stands for, going back to the 1970s, about what true journalism was all about. And you read that and you just go, wow, these people that are running around these days with cameras, filming people, harassing people, sticking things in their faces, trying to get them to let loose on them and all the rest of it, um, that's not journalism.
No. They've,
And the media needs to, and look, I still believe that there's some truth in the media these days, but you've got to wait, as you said before, you've got to work your way through the bushes and the shite to find it.
yeah.
I think there's still some genuine journalists that are out there that are doing their best to keep integrity, which I'm so glad they do. But the problem is that the CEOs and the all of that, and the companies that own these companies know that without without creating hype, without creating a hornet's nest, people aren't going to be interested. Our society these days survives on the hyper that they need. They need it. It's like we live in a world that everyone's got PTSD and they don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And without that stimulus happening, no one would ever watch the news. So that's why they keep trying to create all these problems and sticking their cameras in people's faces to get a reaction. So that way, then it creates another whole hornet's nest for somebody else. And I feel sorry for them on the day of their reckoning.
Yeah.
The amount of marriages and a lot of problems that they've created over the years. Lord help them. That's what I'll say.
Exactly. That's my, I mean, news giving you information so you can process and think for yourself.
Yep.
Excellent. That's my like in this channel. When we give information so people can think about it and process it, that's what I want. Everybody has to be able to think for themselves and process things and figure out what makes sense in their life, right?
Yep.
When people feed you and try to bombard you with things, bombard you to try to control your brain and make you think you have to think a certain way, wrong, 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 wrong.
Yep. And this is why it's so critical as well. Like even from what um, from what we do on on the on the channel here is you know our responsibility is to help give people guidance without trying to influence their mindset. We're here
Yeah,
encourage them to think a little bit differently without saying, "Oh, this is gospel," because what might be truth for us might not be truth for somebody else because of how they've been brought up, how they've experienced life, and how they interpret things. So we have to make sure that what we do here is also safe for other people, so they don't feel like that we're trying to over empower their position as well. It's the same because we're all using media to try to help people, or in some cases they're not helping people, but it's still the same thing.
Exactly. That's why I said, as long as as long as you're not somebody that harms anyone, you're welcome here. You know, so
I've
that's
got
what
a
makes me
do
sick
one
about
thing there.
how things have changed in the world.
The washing machine was a bit noisy.
I mean, one day I think people are going to start tuning things out about what news is trying to offer us. What is it? You
Yep,
remember when they used to say Big Brother was going to take over?
yep,
That book 1984, whatever it was. Well, we're
yeah.
way past that, but yeah,
Yep.
we're going to have
So
to
no,
learn.
so it's one of those things. Yeah, as I said, I don't myself for Hollywood, and stuff like that. Myself personally, I think my attitude towards the way that I perceived the media was back when Princess Diana died.
Oh, yeah.
You know, out on a date with her boyfriend, which we weren't sure if it was boyfriend, what was going on there, all the rest of that, we'll never know. But the way that they were jumping on their motorbikes and chasing them in the car and trying to get those elusive photos, which ended up being a part of the process to her passing away because they were trying to get away from vehicles.
Yeah.
Um, that for me was the start of when you sit there and you went, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
And it never changed. If anything, in some respects, I believe it's gotten worse. The amount of the extreme that these people have to try to go to just have a semi-normal life, like people like you and I take for granted. We don't have to care what people think of us as we walk down the street. You know, we're not worth millions of dollars per movie, which somehow, because someone makes millions of dollars a movie or they're a multi-millionaire, makes them more important than us, which is not true.
It
But
makes it
that
more
is what the
memorable.
media focuses on because they want that to have people thinking that that is true. And that's been going on for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You know, those people that are in these movies, in these places, these creative souls are probably more broken than you and I. And we're pretty broken as people.
I mean, that was my whole point. All of that money, all of that fame does not mean at the deepest core of you that you're happy.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if, in fact, I think for a lot of them, um, you know, and one person that I absolutely adore in Hollywood is Jim Carrey. Um, him, he's a like Keanu Reeves. They are good souls. They are good people. They come from two different spectrums. One is a very conservative person. The other one is a comic.
Hmm.
But their their heart natures basically care about other people, um, and it makes sense why over time they step out of Hollywood for a while and then come back when they need to. It's because it's on their terms, not on other people's terms.
Yeah.
They understand the boundaries. They 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 take from Hollywood what they need, i.e., money to make a lifestyle which is beneficial to them, and they steer themselves away from the crazy of it.
Yeah. I can see the absoluteness of it. I mean, you have to just protect your energy.
Yeah, yep. And those two guys in particular seem to have it well covered, and I really respect both of them. as actors and as people. I think they're, Jim's a little bit crazier, and I like crazy, so that's why I like Jim Carrey a lot.
Yeah.
But Keanu Reeves for me has been I would put him on like that top of the pinnacle where you sit there and you go, now this is the sort of person that I would sit there and go, I admire and respect as a person. And I don't say that with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, it's just one of those scenarios where I just sit there and I just think back and I look at other actors and people that have been dropped over the years, and I just go, yeah, all you've got to do is make one mistake and everything's taken away from you, and that's not a healthy lifestyle that you have to try to live. You can't be you.
No. I mean, it's funny
What's the
when
point?
I look at Keanu, I look at him and I think he's the quiet of my soul.
Yeah,
If that I know that sounds crazy, but that's what he feels like. He is the quiet of my soul.
yep.
I mean,
And
he epitome of a good human.
like there's I could sit there and look at and the reason why today I'm saying about guys is because I could sit there and mention females, but then everyone would go, "Oh, Steve's just being a perv." there's there's females that I sit there and go, yeah, they're amazing actresses. You've got to call them actors these days, and they do a lot for what they believe. Reese Witherspoon is one of those in particular. I think very genuine. But as I said, for me today, I was sitting there thinking that from a guy's point of view, um, they've been able to find that point of where it's all stable. Hugh Jackman as well, same marriage,
Oh
regardless
yeah,
of
love him.
of
Yeah.
who of what the media tried to do to create problems between him and his wife. And she's so much older. What's he doing with her? She's not pretty. All that sort of stuff. If you read the docos on them too, you sit there and you just go, the media needs their butts whipped. They need to learn to keep their opinions to themselves, leave people alone and let people be people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's truth.
Actually, I think Dolly Parton is a good soul.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I never
Yeah.
really listened to her music as
No,
I
no, no.
didn't
Can't
never
stand the
bought an
music.
album or anything like
No.
that. But I see the good that she does. So she's got like a movie out and it's like little excerpts of different little movies.
Yep.
And they always have a good hearted message, you know?
Yep. Yep. And that's like even from a music point of view, because the music industry gets so tied up into Hollywood as well and bits and pieces as well. And you got singers out there, Dave Draymond from Disturbed. Um, they bring out very hard music, but they have music which is written about making people to start thinking about not committing suicide, and
Yeah, we can't say that
they're
word on
so
here.
passionate about trying to stop people from killing themselves and stuff
We
like
can't say
that.
that
And
word on here.
sorry, the K word, you can't say that.
Can't say that word. Can't say the S word. Nope.
Wow. Okay, I'm learning. So yeah, so the beep word, um, they all that sort of stuff. They just trying to inspire people to search into their souls and go get help and deal with their lives. And from that sort of perspective, you sit there and you just go, it's nice that there's people that are out there that are using what they do for a difference
Yeah.
and trying. Dave Grohl, same as well.
Yeah.
Trying to use the influence that they've been given due to their passion of creativity to actually help other people. Um, and I think that's where it all needs to get back to, is that regardless of how we look to someone, some people say idolize, some people just put people on a pedestal, some people just admire someone. It's all about encouraging each other and supporting each other.
Yeah.
And if the media started helping us to do that instead of creating um, these fictitious storylines on people and actually bringing them down, they will actually recognise that there's so much better things they could be doing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we've got to create a torrential river somehow.
Yeah,
And it's all going to have to start on um, online, I think, on YouTube, on different social platforms, because it's not going to happen in Hollywood. It's not going to happen in mainstream. It's not.
yeah, yeah,
So, and even unfortunately, a lot of places online is still dark and dramatic and chaotic. So we are fighting as light workers united. We are all fighting this tide. We are. We are.
yeah. Oh, g'day, Gourmet Thursday. How are you? Hope you're keeping well.
Oh, by the way, Eden was trying to put that banner up. We are having a heck of a time
Oh, really?
getting it to fit. Yeah, we keep messing with the pixels and changing the numbers and don't know what's going on.
Yeah. You just need to find out from them what the actual sizings are, and then you build the banner around the dimensions.
Well, we did. We keep making it smaller. We keep, yeah, something's going on.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll get there. But
Yeah,
just,
it takes time.
anyway, I guess I better let's see what time it is.
So
9:16. I guess I better start wrapping up. I'm trying not to draw it out so long for everybody.
that's fine. All right. Well, I'll jump offline, but yeah, have a great night, everyone. Yeah, I slept in a bit this morning. I was trying to get up for 7:30, but it didn't quite happen. So, but yeah, we'll chat again soon.
We're all trying to come up with a show, or it doesn't even have to be a documentary. It can just be a show that we all can enjoy and talk about as a community, get into the characters and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I've been thinking about that. It's because obviously with my brain at the moment, I'm probably the last one to
I know.
ask on that because my brain's just so all over the place. Before everything happened with Michaela, I was watching a series called Afterlife, which was a Netflix
Yeah, I
series.
started saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Since everything's happened with Michaela, I can't even put on the TV. It's so hard. I've been struggling with just listening to music, let alone sitting
Gotcha.
down and trying to watch other people act. It just hasn't worked. So yeah.
My daughter kept creeping in this room with her arms full of stuff. Don't know what she's got. I'm hoping she got me Tootsie Rolls. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Eden.
Steve said, hey, Eden, she started working at a smoothie place.
Oh, nice.
Smoothie King. It only has health food smoothies. Hey,
Yeah.
Virginia. Gourmet Thursday and everybody. So glad you popped in. And by the way, I am still messing with times for the lives. And I started earlier. Nobody was in here. Everybody starts coming in. Everybody starts coming in toward the middle and the end now. So I don't know what to do.
Personally, this is just me. I think you just need to stick to the times that you used to do before because that's what everybody knows you as, and because everyone comes in at that time at the moment because they don't realizing that you're changing.
I
That's
think
me.
I think so
Yep.
because I start missing
Because
everybody.
you got awesome people like Gourmet Thursday that are dropping in now because she's used to you being here now, and now all of a sudden it's like time to go, but it's yeah, and they're dropping in late, but they're actually on time.
Yeah, I know. I may have to do that because I sure do miss everybody. So does everybody want me to go back to the normal time? If you want me to go back to the normal time, put a 1 in the chat. If you want me to go earlier, put a 2. Dun, dun, dun. I need to know.
Yeah,
Please.
and Virginia Wolf, it looks like you've dropped in at the moment as well. G'day, mate.
Everybody wants me to go back to the normal time. Is
This
that
is what
what I
I've just
said?
yeah, this is what I've been feeling, but I've wanted everyone to actually show you that that's what's needed.
Okay, I will go back to the normal time because I'm missing everybody. I've been like
Yeah,
Maybe I need to go earlier, so that's what I did. I'll go back to the normal because
Just stick to the normal. And this is my thing that I say is, you do you. Worry about what's worked, and you know everyone's going to drop in because they want to see you, and and they'll make it if they can make it, and if they don't, well, we understand as well. But that's just your time slot that everybody knows. So,
well, okay,
and
then we're gonna party. Okay, and I need to tell you guys really quick because I told Sheila's our plumbing broke. I said that on Sunday when Busy was here. It was supposed to be a totally different show. Well, we called a plumber. Plumber said, okay, it's clogged at the septic tank. Didn't want that to happen. I was so upset because we were already paying the plumber money. We've had to put out so much money lately. It upset me. It depressed me. I was worried about the family. So I said, septic tank people, can you come? They said it could be a day to 4 days. I was like, oh no. We'd already gone through this a few years ago with an asshole for a septic tank guy that charged us $1,200. When they said a day to 4 days, I had flashbacks of us having to use a Home Depot bucket for a toilet. You don't want to know the details. So, anyway, I was very upset. Asked Angels and Noah for help. Kid you not. I'm sitting there watching TV. Noah's toys, which I have not heard in months, started going off with the TV on, saying things that I hadn't heard. So I'm trying to get the TV to go down quick because they were saying things I had not heard. If I'm lying on my life, on my, on my life, within 10 minutes or less, my phone starts ringing and the septic tank people said they were on their way. On their way after saying a day to 4 days. The guy gets there within 40 minutes, everything's fixed. He says, well, it's just plugged at the top. I'm going to charge you a service call. But the last guy must not have done what he said he was going to do. Steven says, go ahead and do it all. He charges us an unbelievable price. On top of it, he starts talking to me, and it had only been a few months he lost his dad. His dad was on drugs. He'd been in jail. He cleaned up his life a few months before he died. And he said he took him to immediate care and they sent him home and he died at home of a heart attack. And the guy started talking about, is there an afterlife, or I'm tired. Anyway, long story short, he was asking me about the other side. Weird. The connection, Noah had to have done all of it. What are the odds? And before the guy left, and I told him, what you are doing is more than a job because you are touching people in a way you don't understand. And he got teary eyed and we looked at each other and stuff. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And 100% Noah had everything to do with this. And my angels too. But look, for his toys to go off and then the septic tank people call, I'm telling you, I hope all of you are learning from all of this, from me, from Steve, from other people. And I'm going to get interviews. I'm going to work on any interviews from other people that are experiencing this. And I need to write down my experiences. I've told Steve to write down his, etc., because they want us to. They want us to.
yep.
But I
Yeah,
had to share.
the amount of experiences I've been having with Michaela assisting me has been mind blowing. And for me at the moment, obviously, it's a lot fresher because obviously everything's just happened, and she's been. But it's not just for me. She's been going everywhere. I'm getting messages from people from Norway to Ireland to England to Canada to New Zealand. And then just people in between here in Australia as well,
And here.
and the states, and she's just been making her presence felt and been helping people and stuff. And I just sit there and I go, I'm so proud of her. It's just so good to see, as painful as it is. it's great to see that she's actually able to do more now than what she was able to do before.
Yeah.
Because that's what we all want. We all want to not make an impact from an ego perspective, but we all want to help on a grander scale.
Yeah.
Um, and Noah and Michaela both have that ability now. They both have that ability to help other people and intervene and solve things for them by them just being able to be around people. And, you know, lucky for those people that are getting those moments with our kids. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I mean, and the things they can do are far greater than like Noah intervening in that small way. They're far greater than those kind of
Far
things.
greater. Yep.
So I just had to share with you all. So just please understand what we experience here is much more real there. It's much more real there. This is faint in comparison. Yep, yep, yep. But anyway,
Um,
go ahead.
oh, and yeah. So I'll yeah. Are we going to be on this weekend with the trauma summit being on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Saturday night. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So I just couldn't remember with the days. I thought one of them was Saturday night was on, so I just couldn't remember. So I just thought I'd ask the question.
yeah. I got to keep it rolling
Yeah.
because
Oh
I
well,
have
it's
to.
Saturday day. I keep getting the times mixed up. Saturday day that the summit's on, and then Saturday night you're here. So yeah, that's fine. I keep forgetting.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
the way it goes, I
yeah, I get
I
it.
I lose a day. I have to keep the clock going.
Yeah, correct. Yep. So, all right. Well, look, I'm going to jump off. Everyone, look after yourselves. Be kind to each other. Love your friends. Love your family. Don't give them too much heck. Just you know. But yeah, we'll speak again soon. And I'm still coming and going. I'm not on all the time just due to my headspace, but we're doing what we can.
And you have to know everybody loves you and always
Yep.
holds space for you.
I know. I know.
Good,
So, and I actually felt like coming on for a while this morning. Yeah. So there you go.
good.
So,
Thank you.
all right. I'll jump off and I'll let you wrap up.
Okay.
See everyone.
Well, got that settled. I know to go back to regular time. Yes, Steve is awesome. But so are all of you. Look, I always hold you in my heart. When I don't see you, I'm looking for you. But I don't hold you to any certain expectation. But I do look for you. I do think about you. Even when I'm not on here, wondering how all of you are doing. And just know that I think all of you are very good humans. You mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I hope I see you again soon, soon, soon. And treat yourself well. Start resonating higher. Very soon, it's going to be where I can start having certain private classes on here. YouTube's going to make it possible. Yeah, happy October, everyone. Oh, and I'm going to set it up where I can do ghost hunting on one of the lives. That's going to be the plan for October. It's spooky month. But anyway, love you all so much. And yeah, those that are watching in the replay, let me know what you think about this whole, Hollywood mental health, but also the Pitt and Jolie situation. Just wish they'd, think about the kids. Don't put it all out there. I wouldn't want to have to do it later. It's not good. It's not good. But anyway, remember your vibe attracts your tribe. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can. The information's down there. You don't have to. I'm just so happy you're here and happy to see faces I haven't seen in a while. Happy, happy, happy. And I love you so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to get some new songs in here too. Bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go.
Come on.
Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway.
Hey, Cynthia, living with MS, that's okay.
Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Take off all the stress. Bye, everybody. Love ya.
You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay.